If aliens came to Earth and performed a description of humankind, they would probably classify us as a superabundant and widespread invasive species that concentrates in relatively small agglomerated built-up regions, which we call cities and towns. As a result of a complex mix of social, economic, and political reasons, human migration toward urban centers made our global population more urban than non-urban in 2008. By 2030, more than 60% of the global population will live in urban centers, concentrating our species in cities more than ever. It is unsurprising that the amount of natural resources demanded by cities from outside their boundaries is overwhelming, sometimes going beyond hundreds of times their size. Thus, the environmental effect of urbanization not only concerns the direct impact of the replacement of pre-existing systems with artificial structures and elements related to modern housing, transport, and work, implying changes in local topography, hydrology, climate, and ecology, it also concerns most production systems, as goods mainly end up in cities. Each city is a unique entity, as it was conceived, settled, and developed under very specific conditions with a widely different set of inhabitants. We as a species plan and manage the cities we live in, and the ecology of cities has only recently become a relevant topic. But do we understand the ecology of our cities? Do we know what the aim of so-called urban sustainability goals should be across the globe? These pressing questions are why the multiple urban-related disciplines must work hand in hand among each other and together with local and regional governments to generate evidence-based knowledge in order to promote and normalize biodiverse, livable, and resilient cities. As an urban ecologist with a strong bias to study birds, I have devoted and plan to continue in doing so most of my research efforts to understand how and why do species respond to urbanization, or seen from the other perspective, how does urbanization affect biodiversity? I like to think on biodiversity as a thermostat that can inform us on the ecological conditions of a site. It may be the entire assemblage of species of any given wildlife group to the presence absence of focal species, or even their behavior, physiology, or genetics. Urban biodiversity knowledge can have important positive implications on residents across a wide spectrum of aspects. For an in-depth understanding of urban biodiversity, considerable urban management, design, and planning actions can be performed in order to maintain ecosystem services, namely the benefits that wildlife species provide to people, together with additional values such as ecological and cultural ones. Thus, by using biodiversity as the ecological thermostat of cities and towns, we may even shift the way in which we conceive and materialize the urbanization process toward an eco-friendlier reality. Although in the past I've worked in projects with many wildlife groups, such as amphibians, reptiles, butterflies, plants, etc., I have focused mainly on birds for many reasons. One of them is that I am a trained ornithologist. But besides being magnificent, birds provide us with important information with regards to city traits. Thus, in seeking appropriate groups to tackle urban ecology questions for which birds are not ideal, I've paved my way through strong, diverse, and collaborative research with students of all levels, as well as expert colleagues. Such is the case of a project in which we focused on the patterns of 10 wildlife groups, from plants and fungi to bats and birds, in which we addressed some basic diversity analysis for a Mexican neotropical city, Jalapa, finding that some groups are more indicative than others, while those that are indicative can be reflecting different aspects of cities. But allow me to share a bit about an urban bird I've studied for the past 15 years, the house sparrow, Varpunen. This species is present in cities across the planet with admirable plasticity, namely its enormous ability to respond positively to a wide diversity of environmental scenarios, most of which are related to human settlements. For instance, despite its broad omnivory, this sparrow even includes meat as part of its diet, about which we have recently published a brief review. Although there is increasing knowledge on its health, physiology, morphology, behavior, and ecology, in many regions across the globe, we still don't understand many aspects behind the adaptability of this species, together with all the bioindicative information it might carry. Interestingly, this species can be differentially informative where it has been introduced, where it is considered to be native, and where it is native. Currently, I am still working with its North American invasion population, where it's a clear bioindicator of heavy urbanization and human activity. And I plan to start working with it here in Finland and other European countries where we consider it to be native. But was it present here before the human expansion across Europe? Many questions still remain to be tested. In studying biodiversity from the physiological, health, behavior, population, and community perspectives, I have been able to leverage evidence-based results to suggest urban management and planning strategies. Woefully, such types of results tend to become a dead letter, with urban development following mostly economic forces in many parts of the world and not evidence-based knowledge on ecology. Official information states that cities are transforming the land faster than they grow in population, at least in some parts of the world. Furthermore, there has often been a marked disconnection among urban management, development, and planning stakeholders, with the environmental component being mostly neglected. Only recently, governmental decision makers of some countries from across the globe, Finland included, have not only begun understanding the value of urban biodiversity, but are also seeking action grounded in evidence-based knowledge toward eco-friendlier cities and towns. In a project I am currently leading with a Startti pilot in Lahti, we seek to understand and integrate aspects of the physical sphere of urban areas using proxies as built intensity, anthropogenic noise, etc., the ecological sphere, basically through biodiversity measurements, and the social sphere, using variables such as population density and wealth, into citywide models as to consider the wire rate of urban conditions within a given city. This will hopefully allow us to better inform decision makers on how to make effective management actions, for instance. The idea is to broaden the scope of our model to more Finnish cities and those from other contrastingly different countries. We aim to further refine the models, allowing us to build tools that cities can use to generate useful information for their decision-making processes. We build and manage the cities we live in. We need evidence-based urban ecology knowledge so that we can promote and normalize biodiverse, livable, and resilient cities. Kiitos.